Welcome back to Ita See the World. And last section, we talk about the revitalization of Hawaiian traditional tattooing culture. And right now, we continue to ask Keone, the master from Hawaii. And for you, what is the difference between machine tattoo and traditional tattoo? And for you, what is the definition of traditional?
I'll take the first one, the last one first.
Yes.
That's difficult because, to be honest, when you're talking about traditional, you're putting a timeline as to when the things were done, and not as a continuation. You're saying that this is traditional and this is modern, even though we might do what is traditional in modern times. So to me, it's hard to define because what was traditional in the past might change a little bit in the present. And what we do now will be traditional for our grandchildren. So for me, it's not about what is traditional, it is what is cultural, what is appropriate. What is the way of thinking that is appropriate? So do you get inspiration from what is around you? Traditionally, that's how it was done, right? So sometimes you write a song because of the beauty of the mountains, or the smell of the flower, or the touch of the wind as it relaxes you. And that was a traditional way of thinking, yeah? So in today's society, you can take that same traditional way of thinking and make it into contemporary terms. So to me, the tradition is the way that people think, not what they do. So for me, this is traditional. The way that I do the tattoos and the designs that were handed to me is traditional. But traditional tattooing is a continuation of what our ancestors did. Machine tattooing, and I enjoy machine tattooing. I like machine tattooing. I wouldn't do machine tattooing, but I appreciate people who have machine tattoos. But if you're indigenous, why put on a design with a machine? Because that machine was developed by the same people that took the lands away, that killed your ancestors, that try and still till this day oppress you. So by picking up these tools, you're making a political statement of saying, you know what we had was good enough for us. And to me, that's important. Yeah. The other thing is that there are a lot of mythologies around traditional tattoos. The first mythology is it hurts more, and it doesn't. In the right hands, it doesn't hurt as much. The second mythology is it takes a long time. In the right hands, it's very quick. It's quicker than machine. So when you say, what's the difference? The difference is that I choose not to be colonized.
So for many traditional tattoo artists, traditional tattooing is a way of decolonization, right?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, but it's a small way. People would not think of it that way when you see it. When you see somebody doing it, people don't think of it as a political expression of sovereignty. But I do.
Yeah, that's important, and it's a impressive, a new way of thinking for me. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so during your tattooing experience career, it's almost 30 years, right? So when is your first time tattooing for other people, and what's the feeling at that time?
In 1990, I remember first time tattooing with a machine, and I was scared because what you're doing is you
put a pattern on.
You're marking
body.
Somebody for the rest of their life.
Yes.
Yeah. So you gotta be good.
Yeah.
So I remember that. In 1996, when I first started tattooing with traditional tools, it was different. What I felt was, because no one was doing it at that time in Hawaii. And what I felt was a tremendous weight upon me to carry on this tradition. And questioning whether I was strong enough to do that. The technical part, I wasn't worried about. It was everything else that comes with it. Is that you carry the culture of your people and your ancestors on your shoulders. And I've been doing that a lot for nearly 30 years. And so at this point, I'm used to it. But I remember the first time tattooing someone thinking, am I strong enough to do this? Yeah.
So, but I think that every indigenous or younger generation, they're going through a different level of finding their way, finding their identity. So it related to my next question, what is the most difficult thing for your apprentices or the people who want to learn traditional tattooing culture?
I think contemporary society puts a lot of pressure on younger generations. And because of this, to me, by getting a tattoo, you're making the first step as to determining who you are. Because when you lie down on the ground and you get hit with the needles, that's exactly what your ancestors felt. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's how your ancestors felt. There's nothing in this world today with all the contemporary things around you that you can say that that is exactly how they felt 200 years ago. That's what determines who we are. And that is what my apprentices have come to realize. Even in Hawaii, they need to know who their roots are. They need to know how it is to be Hawaiian. Not just to say I'm Hawaiian, but to be Hawaiian. Not just to say that I can speak the language, but to have the joy of feeling the pain and the pride of your ancestors on the skin. Not just being able to sing Hawaiian songs, but to be able to listen to the whispers of your ancestors in the wind. Yeah? And in the beat of these tools. Yeah. So, to me, that's important. And that's what brings my apprentices to me, is their understanding of who they are. The first traditional tattoo I got was from my teacher. And it was a very humbling experience, because he did my full leg in about 1 hour. And he didn't make any drawings. He just made marks. And then I realized how much I needed to learn. Yeah. And at this point in time, pretty much that's all I do, is just make marks. If, unfortunately, in today's society with machine tattoos, you go to a shop, they put on a stencil and you know exactly what it's going to look like. And there's an expectation, not so much in Hawaii anymore, but outside of Hawaii, that they want to know what it looks like. And for me, it's hard because I'll draw something, but it's not going to look like that.
It's different.
It's different. It'll come out different. Because in traditional times, tattooing was different. The tattooist had mana. The tattooist was a priest. The tattoo controlled everything over here. They told you if you could come inside or if you had to stay out. They told you what designs would be good for you. Yeah. Nowadays, when you think of tattoos, you don't think of it that way. So it's different.
So nowadays, actually in Taiwan, we see tattoo. Some people see tattoo as like related to criminal or some negative stereotype, which is stigmatizing a stereotype. So that causes that many younger generation are afraid to having the tattoo, or they have multiple like consideration or struggles to like get the traditional tattoo. So how do you think?
It takes time for it to change, but to me, you need brave people to be able to say, I have skills, I know what I'm worth, but I need to acknowledge who I am and get the tattoos. Yeah. Everybody told me that I'd never get a job because I got a tattoo. I've had more jobs because of it than not. Everybody told me that I couldn't get a job because I spoke Hawaiian. I've had more jobs because I did than roadblocks. You just gotta be able to say, you know what, this is my culture, I wanna re-own it. And if you say that tattoos are a reflection of criminals and a lower class of people, that just tells me how colonized you are.
I love these perspectives. Yeah, it's we have to be brave enough to, break the stereotype and change the way of like colonization. And you have participated so many like international like tattoo art festival, and also in Pacific Island, Pacific countries. Do you see any similarities or difference?
All of us have the same challenges, and that's to work through colonization. The similarities is all of us did the same style of tattooing, and we need to get back to that. Yeah. And I try my best because my teacher stepped out of his comfort zone to teach me because I'm not Samoan. So I try my best to teach whoever wants to learn that's outside of the Hawaiian community. And that's why I'm here helping Chuji and his students learn as much as I can, because that's a legacy of my teacher, not of me, but of my teacher. And so that's the way that I can perpetuate it. Everyone is trying to revitalize their culture. The Philippines had a continual culture of tattooing. Indonesia had, and still has, yeah, both of them still has. But every place else is still struggling, and Samoa still has. But every place else is still struggling to revitalize it. So it's a challenge, but if it takes another 100 years and it's successful, then that's good.
So as a traditional tattoo master, what is your next step? Or what is your expectation toward the future? Like Chuji, he wants that every indigenous group which they have traditional tattoo culture, they can have a tattooist to represent their own group and to pass on all these techniques and knowledge to the next generation. So that is what he's doing right now. So what is yours next step?
Just to help whoever needs help. Yeah, because Chuji has done it for a shorter period of time than I have. So whatever I can do to help him, to help others, I think that's important.
Yeah, that is the most important things to do. Exactly. Yeah, and so I'm so thankful for your sharing today, and we learned a lot from it. And I'm very appreciate that there are more and more people willing to learn this traditional tattooing culture, and also because the master, yeah, and to carry on this cultural practice and to assure that this practice will never be lost. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Mahalo.
You. Bye.